Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ched Talks. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. It is a pleasure to be with you tonight. Also, and again, we're brought to you live by Hookshot Media Productions, which will always bring you the best content out there, creative content. Tonight's guest is Marcus Davenport. And Marcus, I think most of you will know Marcus because he and his father owns, or Marcus himself owns 10 of the Sunrise Caribbean restaurants. He's going to give us some knowledge today. Also, when I talk about leadership and I would talk about fatherhood, this is building right up until Father's Day. We're going to be talking to people in the community, talking to people that have had success, and this is one of the guys. Welcome on the show, Marcus. Okay, so I have a lot of questions for you tonight, and I'm sure our viewers are going to love to join in, hear what you have to say. And I was going to start at the beginning about when your father first started the business and how it went, but I wanted to actually talk a little bit about what we were just chatting about. I want to surprise you a little bit. I want to talk about the dress. How you looking so fly? I want to talk about why. We talked about the professional look and how the image that you portray. What do you think the young people of today should, and how do you think they should portray themselves to the general community?
Well, I feel like people need to dress the way that they want to be treated and the way they want to be approached. Right? So a lot of the youth, the problem is especially youth that look like me, we put on this like gangster persona, and this like, I'm a G, I'm a thug, even though that's not the lifestyle that you live. Right. So when people approach you and you find yourself in certain situations, it might be because someone looks at you and says, this person's scary, this person's a threat. Right. Yeah. Going forward, one of the biggest things that I want to do to help change things in the community is for it to be okay to dress and look professional. Right. Okay. Even if, you're just starting off your little business and, maybe you sell shoes, or maybe, you're female and you sell hair products, this and that. Looking the part goes a long way. And a lot more people will take you serious. When you step into the room, they're going to be like, wow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. He looks the part. I want to hear what he has to say, even though you might not, this might be your first time doing anything. You might be an amateur at business, but people are going to look at you and say, you know what? I'm going to give you a shot. So you're saying fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. All right. That's cool. Yeah. So let's go back to the beginning. I mean, you said, your father started in this business when you were just a baby, or when you were just born. Yes. So tell me a little bit about how growing up and watching him kind of create this empire. My dad and I didn't have too big of a relationship until I was about 12 years old. Reason being is every time that I would wake up to go to school, my dad would be at work. And anytime that I would come home from school, he'd be sleeping. So I only knew my dad as the door. You know what I mean? I'd be like, Mom, where's Dad? And they'd point towards the bedroom door and say he's sleeping, because the guy used to just work. And when I was growing up, I wasn't the model son that I may be today. I used to give a lot of trouble. I did not like to listen. I was very defiant. So my father used to have to stop working to come to school and to, Marcus, why are you not listening? Why are you not doing well in school? Why are you this and that? And that's how I got to build that relationship with my dad. And I feel like as I grew older, subconsciously when I was young, maybe I gave trouble for my dad to come out and be there. You know what I mean? So it's attention matter which way you get. Right? Yeah. So as I started giving all this trouble, he said, you know what? the only thing that I could do for this young man is to kill him with work.
Right.
So there I got the sentence. Every day after school, as I turned 12 years old, every weekend, every PA day, Christmas break, March break, I am working. So this guy used to just work me. I used to be at the head office. I used to be at the plant. I used to go to the stores. Man, they used to treat me. When I used to work at the stores, they tell me, make a mop, make him sweep, make him do the bottom job.
Oh my God.
He's not the boss here. You know what I mean? And it taught me what it's like to be at the bottom and what it's like to start from the starting position.
Right.
So now where I am, it helped me become a better leader.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I'm able to do every single job.
And they can't fool you. They can't fool you.
Nothing. When they try to sweep stuff in the corner, I used to do that. So you can't catch me like that. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, that helped me be able to talk to my staff and my crew a little bit better and have a better understanding of I've been there.
Yeah.
Right. Because for someone like me, owning 10 locations and having about 110 employees, that's underneath my watch, not including being president of the whole entire company.
Right.
People see me as a young man and say, well, what kind of experience do you have?
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of people would think, well, your dad just passed down the business to you. And you're just going to trail around and act like, you know what I mean? You do this, you do that. But that's not the case when it comes down to my crew and my people. They have that understanding. A lot of them actually work with me for like about 5-6 years when I first started getting my own restaurants, from switching from an employee to becoming an entrepreneur.
Awesome.
And they've seen me work the cash till, cook the food in the back. You know what I mean? Talk to the customers. You know, that's how I met Kofi and doing marketing, and everybody has seen me hands-on. So the people that know me, that have been there from the beginning, know how I do what I do. Right.
So I guess it's like sometimes people, oftentimes live in envy of people that they're seeing. Social media is a great example of it. People are seeing you out there and seeing people doing all these things, but they have no idea the work that went into before. So they're only seeing the end product. They're seeing a guy coming in my studio looking sharp, and they
don't know what it takes.
That's right. And they don't know what it takes to get there. Don't know that you were busting your butt since you were 12 years old, from sweeping floors to now. Renowned owning and running a restaurant and building an empire.
Yes.
So that's awesome, man. I love it. So as you started your journey through building this restaurant, obviously you've acquired many skills, leadership. You've learned marketing, sales. You've learned the whole thing. What is the one thing and where's your heart lie within the business itself? What the one thing that really love?
And this is a really good topic, right? My biggest thing is the next generation coming up underneath me. You know what I mean? The next line, you know what I mean? The kids that I am going to have, the younger generation, the people that are now 10, 12 years old, when I started off just working inside of the restaurant, right? It's to show them that it's possible. It doesn't have to be Sunrise. It doesn't have to be a restaurant. But you could start your own business. And our community, the biggest thing is that, everybody wants to do, but they feel like it's so far away. You know what I mean? They're just like, I'm going to do it when I'm 50. I'm going to do it when I'm 40. No, you could do it now. And you could start off small. There's so many different little avenues for you to become your own entrepreneur. And that's one of the things that I feel like is lacking in our community is the professional entrepreneurship. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a great point. I argue the point with, in fact, I had the conversation today with someone about entrepreneurship versus being self-employed. That is a question that I tend to struggle with other people, because there are people out there that are saying that, you know what, I'm an entrepreneur, but yet they're only self-employed. They're not looking at business opportunities and how to grow, how to maximize and the different hats that they can play as an entrepreneur. As a self-employed person, it's just you, and you can never take any time off. Right? So as an entrepreneur, having that leadership, being able to build a team and all the kind of things that goes with it is certainly a different skill set. So those people that want to own or want to be an entrepreneur, what do we advise them? What do you say to them? It's just, start, but how do they become transition from self-employed to entrepreneurship?
You have to find something that you really have a passion in. And that's the biggest thing. Like, I love business in itself. And I love business becoming successful. In the beginning, there's going to be trial and error. You're going to do a whole bunch of things that are not going to work. But if you don't have that passion within yourself towards what you want to do, you're going to give up.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
You're going to say, I want to work when I want to work. And that's what a lot of people do when they're self-employed as well, right? They're going to choose, I'm going to do my self-employed job these days during the week. Being an entrepreneur, especially in the business that I'm in, there's no such thing as that. I work 7 days a week and I have 2 of the locations that are 24/7. So I don't sleep. If there's a problem 4:00 in the morning, I have to make sure that I'm on top of whoever is supposed to make sure that that's supposed to get fixed.
Right.
If you know what I'm trying to say, right? I'm very hands-on inside of my business.
Right.
So you have to be hands-on in what you have to do. You have to be resilient. You have to be ready.
Okay, then, if that's the case and you're working all the time, how do you create balance? How do you be that guy that's not the door?
For me, you have to be willing to sacrifice, and you have to have people around you that are going to understand that sacrifice. Right. I don't get the time to have as much family time as I would like to have. I don't get as much time to spend with my significant other as I would like to have.
Right.
You know what I mean? But you have to be able to put those things to the side, knowing that your vision is bigger than just me and you. When I sit down with my family, I let them know, I say, I'm making the sacrifice. I'm sacrificing my personal life to make sure that we can live a life that is great and that we can inspire others to do the same thing. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
That's a big ask,
right? Good. So for me, it's like I live in like an 80-20. It's like 80% business and 20% everything else gets jumbled in. It's not healthy. It's not something that I could tell you have to do. But if you want to play on the level of the Jeff Bezos, the Bill Gates, the Warren Buffetts, right? If you want to play on those guys' level, you have to be working all the time. You have to be ahead. You got to remember that there's a lot of competition, especially in Caribbean restaurants. As much as we have the most, there's another guy that's trying to come up and put you out of business.
Right. There's always
somebody that's going to, and I love that competition.
Right.
Another thing for you to be an entrepreneur, you got to be competitive. You have to be ready to look your competition in the face and say, you know what, you're not winning today.
That's right.
I'm winning.
That's
but
great.
But also at the same time, as much as you come off, you don't want to bring too much aggression. Everyone should still eat.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to kill Willie's jerk.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't want to kill Mr. Jerk. Everybody needs to have their own market share.
Right.
You know what I mean? I am just going to do the best in my ability to maintain to be the best Caribbean restaurant that I could be.
Follow your vision and they'll, things will fall into place.
Exactly. That's my vision.
So that's interesting that you talk about balance. I often believe that, and this is the advice I give as a coach is that, true balance is trying to achieve it. So it's not that everything is 50-50 or, it's about being present at that moment that you are. So if it's with your family, if it's with your significant other, if it's with your son, whoever, when you're present, be totally present with them at that moment. And I think that's the balance that you can achieve. Because if I'm here and I'm talking with you right now and I'm just paying attention to my phone and then I'm not present, and then you really don't have the best of me. So I think that's the best advice, especially someone that's going to be playing at the level that you are, that I can give is that, just be mindful of those loved ones because you can never get them back. And your health, you can never get it back. So you make sure that you balance those in terms of being present and give it your moment when you are there. Right? Cool. So following that up now, you talked a little bit about the younger generation. And it's a topic that's very close to my heart because I'm always trying to say, how can I appeal to the next generation? Now, from all what we're seeing, the millennials are a tough generation. You guys are a tough generation. Yeah. But the ones below you, I'm hearing, is even tougher. They don't want to work.
They don't.
How are you going to be able to combat that? In a few years, they're the ones going to be entering the workforce. How are you going to be able to say to them?
We have to change the work environment. You see, people of your age, they're used to the hardcore, the whip, you know what I mean? Work or you get fired. That doesn't work these days.
Right.
Now you have to be able to inspire your employees.
Right.
Inspiring them by making sure that they get paid well. Because that's one of the biggest things and one of the biggest motivators is, okay, I'm not going to work for a job that's not going to take care of me financially properly.
Right.
Right. Also, it's the work environment. We have to be a little bit more relaxed. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was like, this is how it needs to be. This is how your uniform has to be. That's not working these days.
Right.
You have to give them a fun work environment where they feel like, they're coming to work, they're being productive, but they're getting stuff done. They know they have rules, but it's not like, oh my God, this is death. I don't want to come to work tomorrow.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's how you bring the next generation up in the workforce. You got to adapt. You know what I mean? That's some of the things that I'm putting into the business right now. Like just now we raised the wage We no longer pay minimum wage. We pay $15 an hour now.
Right. That's
And you
huge.
should see it's really big. And you see, as a Black company and a Black owned and operated company, it's one of the things I want to put out there.
Right.
We have to take care of our people.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And a lot of the times, Caribbean restaurants and some Black businesses take advantage of our people.
Right.
Right. They take advantage of the little loopholes in the labor laws to extort or to take advantage, of our employees.
Right.
And that doesn't set them up for when they go for that big job. You see, for me, Sunrise is a beginning job for a lot of these people. A lot of people, they're coming out of high school or they're doing it part-time here and there, and it's their start.
Right.
It is my responsibility to prepare them for when they get that big office job, if that's the direction they want to go, or for when they open up their own business and that's the direction they want to go. They need to learn from me.
Right. Yeah.
I have to set them up. So one of the biggest things of setting them up is saying, you know what, instead of you trying to kill yourself and work 1,000,000 hours to make ends meet, why don't I pay you more?
Right.
Right. Why don't we bring in benefits so you don't have to worry about your dental?
Right.
Why don't, for the single mothers that work for me, we come out with some programs where, you know, you can send your kids to basketball camp in the summertime and you don't have to worry, but you don't have to have that stress on your head thinking, you know, shit, man, what am I going to do when I get back home? You know what I mean? I got to worry about, you know, Deontay and he's going to be out with the boys or something, right? Why not? She knows he's in summer camp or whatever program she wanted to put him in, and she's working, and that company has your back.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing with the new corporate culture is, oh, we don't want to talk about the billionaires. We don't want to talk about the multimillionaires. All they care about is getting as much work as they can get done for the cheapest amount of money that they have to spend and then living their lavish lifestyle.
Right.
We have to change that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could still live a lavish lifestyle and give to your employees and to your community.
Right.
What's the problem with that?
Awesome. So it's about giving back, and it's about setting a culture and expectations for those that are coming after you and your employees. Yep. So that's awesome. That's leadership, my brother. Yeah, that's great. So now, how are you able to change the culture? There are some stigmas that you know, surround Caribbean restaurants.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Particularly the Jamaican restaurants.
Yes.
Right. And I want to talk a little bit about that. You know, someone once said to me, if you go in a restaurant and you're not treated bad, then the food's not good. No, it's for real. So how do you work with that?
People, they tend to bring the authenticness of the restaurant with rude service. Right. So they feel like, you know, if the person behind the counter is rude, then they're really drunk. You know what I mean? But you see, the thing is we change that. And how we change that is by bringing in a certain quality of food consistently. Right. So no matter who's behind the counter, you know what you're getting. Right. And that's one of the things that Sunrise has kind of mastered over the years is you know what the oxtail is going to taste like. You know what the jerk chicken is going to taste like. So now on the service end, it's saying, you know what? The biggest thing, to get a little deep in there, it's self-respect. Right. And that's one of the things that I've been talking to some of my employees about. Some of them don't respect themselves. Right. And if you can't respect yourself, you're not going to respect the person that's in front of you. Right. Right. I get you. These table manners that we grow up with, they're not showing them when they get into the restaurant. You know, good morning. Yeah. How are you? Right. Thank you. Yeah. Please. Smile. These things, you know what I mean? These things are eliminated with way I want. You know what I mean? And it's just like, that's not cool anymore. So it's making it not cool. It's bringing someone into an environment that is positive, and then bringing another person into that environment. And as years and years go on, they're going to be like, you know what? Sunrise has showed me how I need to respect myself and how I need to respect others. True. And that whole stigma will change. Sure. That's how you change the culture. That's great. Yeah, that's awesome. So, you know, it's funny. You could take it the other way too. I mean, I remember I was in Texas, and there was a restaurant. You know, there's a strip that they have like 1,000 restaurants, and there was a restaurant particularly in there that you go in there and the expectations are the waitress going to treat you bad. So I went in there and they start swearing at you and they're, what the hell do you want? Get out. Yeah, and that was the expectation. And that's part of the whole, that's their shtick, right? That's how they're called. And it was the funniest thing. You see people asking the waitress, and she would just like throw peanuts at them. And people go there to be abused. It was the funniest thing, but it was something that worked for them. Yeah. And I could not believe that's how that's their shtick, and it worked for that restaurant. Well, you see, that's the thing. But I'm not saying that you gotta take that. But changing a culture can be difficult. And so what about the employees that's been there a long time, and those ones that are kind of stuck in their ways? How do you change it?
And first, I guess we can talk about from a business perspective. I know I do it in coaching, in terms of leadership coaching. How do you change a culture of a
like the older generation, somebody that has
like if you're in and particularly you have a company where you have over 100 employees that they're used to a certain kind of culture. You're going in there, you're making changes. How do you change the culture so people buy in?
You have to be able to sell the new dream.
Right.
And that's the biggest thing. You have to sit down some of them, especially like my day one employees, and let them know that we are taking it from Sunrise that used to be at the corner of Galloway and Kingston, and we're taking this mainstream. And in order for us to build something that you could look back and take pride within yourself as a Black person to know, what, I was a part of this.
Right.
We have to change, because we're not going to bring in as much of the other non-Caribbean customers in the store. They're not going to want to get treated the way that you're used to treating people.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's all good and dandy, you know what I mean, for those that are hardcore Jamaican. But you come in and you're Filipino and someone's giving you rude service, that's not your culture.
Right.
You know what I mean? You came in there because you want to get food.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're hungry and you want to try the Caribbean experience. And the thing is that the Caribbean experience that a lot of mainstream and regular Canadian people that are non-Caribbean are looking for is that experience you get when you're at beaches in Jamaica. You know what I mean? Where they give you such good service and they talk to you and they're not being rude to you.
No.
You know what I mean? It's you come here and it's just like, oh, you know what I mean? Backyard style. What's this? You know what I mean? So it's changing that and letting them know that we need to hold ourselves accountable for our actions. And it's teaching them and it's being there, because you're going to tell somebody something and they're going to hear it and then you got to tell them again. And then you got to inspire them again. It's consistency.
Right.
In anything that you do, it's consistency. It's being consistent. It's you not caving. Because sometimes they're going to do some stuff that's going to upset you, and you might want to be ignorant about it. But it's you not being ignorant at that very moment and taking that time to teach them a lesson, rather than being harsh. Right.
Okay. All right. So now I guess that's how the long-term employees, setting that example and being consistent and being a little bit forgiving will help them.
And letting them know that there's a ladder in Sunrise, right? Because a lot of people, they get stuck in a job and they feel like, they're just doing what they're doing every single day and there's no progression, right? So by me even raising the wage, that's a big thing. The morale of the staff has raised 100%. Right. People are no longer treating the job like it's a minimum wage job, because it's not. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And now as I start phasing in things like benefits, it's going to change it even more. They come to work to feel happy. They feel good. They want to give somebody good service. Hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? Because you feel good. Your boss is taking care of you. Your company is taking care of you. You understand what I'm saying? And that's one of the things, because a lot of the reasons why, the average Caribbean place doesn't have that service is because you're taking someone and you're paying them nothing. Right. You know what I mean? A lot of them are paying less than minimum wage. You understand what I'm saying? And they're getting, there's no benefits, there's no nothing, there's no structure in there. So you're just getting someone, they don't care about their job. They want to clock in and clock out. So just, what do you want? Let me get you out of here as fast as I can. I'm getting paid the same $10 if that's what they're paying you. You know what I mean? An hour, whether you stand here or not. You know what I mean? It's changing that. It's letting people know that if we get more customers through our door and we get busier, I'm going to take care of you better. Right. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? Awesome. And that's it. Let's get the store busy. Let's get things going proper. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like when we have health inspections, my teams are ready. You know what I mean? They're excited. Yeah, come on. Look, I did this. And, you know what I mean? I did that. And here's how my chlorine's supposed to be, and the temperature of the food. Everybody's excited. It's not like, oh, what am I going to do? You know what I mean? But that's because of training. And that's because of them being well paid and how they feel like they're being taken care of while they're in the business. Yeah. So there's some ownership there. You know, people feel a part of something. They're going to work harder towards it. That's awesome, man. That's perfect. I think that's a lesson. Actually, I did a podcast or a little bit of a film on that, and it was talking about changing the culture and making sure that you give people something to strive for, and when you presented a vision that's clear and concise, and people will work towards it if they're inclusive. Yes. So that's great, man. Thank you for that. No problem. All right. So tell me now about your dad. Tell me a little bit. You grew up and he was in the restaurant. Then you developed this relationship with him. Yes. Tell me what kind of person he is and what examples has he set for you? My father is one of the most consistent men that I've met in my life. Right. He has taught me consistency. Every day he practices his craft. He loves food.
Right.
You know what I mean? And he's a big time chef. Like you give him just the raw materials, he'll make it work.
Yeah.
And that's what drove him to build the business, was his passion for the restaurant. His passion for cooking is how Sunrise started, right? So with me and my dad is not just a father figure for me. He's also a business partner. He's also a friend. And that's one of the things that I feel like a lot of father-son duos might be missing is the friendship.
Right.
I mean, you respect him as your father, but he's somebody that you can come to about anything.
Right.
He's great when it comes down to advice. He'll tell me, son, this is the stuff that I feel like you need to do. This is the things that I think that need to get done. But he'll also listen to my opinion, and he'll let me make my own mistakes, which is very important. Because sometimes I'm hard-headed about certain things. I feel like I should go down this route. And he'll be like, you know what, son? If you feel like that's what you need to do, here's how you could get that done. And if I do not bring success out of that, he'll come back and he'll say, all right, you know what? It didn't work that way. How about we try my way now? You know what I mean? And giving me that freedom. That's the type of father that he is he gives you that freedom, that time for you to go out there and learn, right? When I first started, he threw me in a restaurant. I didn't know anything about accounting. I didn't know anything about HST filings. I didn't know anything about employees, labor laws, labor board. I didn't know nothing. I didn't even know how much you're supposed to pay people. You know what I mean? He sat me in there and he's like, you got to make it work. You know what I mean? I learned hands-on. You know what I mean? But he also was there to give me that advice. Son, here's how you cook all the items properly. Son, this is where you need to go to get the right advice for accounting. Son, this is what you need to do. But I had to step into it. He wasn't going to spoon feed it to me. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's one of the biggest things of being a great father is leading your kids down the right path, but not holding their hand the whole path. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Today, I think, certainly my generation, I know that we're guilty of being helicopter parents, as we call them. So we're hovering over all the time and not allowing the kids to make mistakes. And as a result, the coping skills and the mechanism for a strong character is missing. So what you see now is a lot of broken people. There's a lot of people that are not able to handle when situation is thrown at them, and then it becomes an issue. So that's great advice, and I'm glad that you can spread it through your generation to say, look here, let's allow our kids to make some mistakes. I mean, certainly watch them from a distance, allow them to make the mistakes before you help them up, rather than preventing them from making all the mistakes. That's good, solid information and good advice. Your dad did a great job, man. You got it all. You know the stuff. I got to meet him someday.
Yes.
Yeah. So all right. So now we've talked a little bit about your relationship with him, the great advice, his leadership in the company that went from a little restaurant at Galloway. I remember it so clearly. I remember going and buy food there. So clearly. And then now it's how many franchises? How many?
26.
26.
We got a few more leases signed up. 3 more leases that are signed up now. I just didn't count them because they're not open yet.
Not open.
But 26 open and operating.
Okay, that's cool.
Across the whole GTA.
Right. So is there any plan for expansion beyond the GTA?
Yes. But for me, at this very moment, I want to conquer the whole of GTA. There's some areas that we're not in yet, like downtown is somewhere that we never traveled to yet. Going a little bit on the outskirts of it. We just opened up in Oakville. So I want to go more concentrated in here and dominate it, and then begin to move outwards, right? And go to Montreal and go to the States, right? But I want to conquer where I am first, and get it set up running properly.
Awesome. So you have a model that's working. So why not just try to improve upon it and then go with it? That's great. So I guess that kind of covers your future plans. What other changes should we be looking for? First of all, let me ask you this: how has the change in environment affected the business? With the pandemic coming on, how did you have to pivot?
The pandemic pushed a lot of the sales to online, pushed a lot to Uber Eats, which we have a partnership with Uber Eats right now. So a lot of our customers went to Uber Eats. It worked well. The reason why it worked well is it let a lot of people that wouldn't normally go into the store because they didn't want to get bad service from an employee to try out the food. So we got a whole bunch of new customers inside of the locations. It also gave us a chance to re-engineer some of our deals with our suppliers. Because of the pandemic, we got better deals on chicken. We got better deals on pork, on better deals on oxtail, goat, all these different types of fish. So I lowered the price of the food inside of the
awesome.
locations during the pandemic. It's still low, and I plan on keeping it at that price for as long as I can. Because you see, at one point, Sunrise was being managed by other people that was not my father.
Right. Okay.
Right. Like I said, he was a chef. He just stepped back into the business the way that he should be. Right. Yeah. And it drifted away from its roots.
Right.
You see, what a lot of people don't understand is Caribbean food was designed for people that did not have money.
Right.
So you have cow foot, oxtail. They used to throw those things away. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Tripe and bean. Like those weren't things that, you go to the keg and get. Right. Right. So they weren't made to be as expensive as they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, I said, when I talked to my pop, I said, Pop, what we got to do is we got to give people affordable, good food.
Right.
Because our customer base aren't, millionaires. You know what I mean? They're a lot of them are ordinary people trying to get by. So you need to be able to give them something that they could be able to go home with and be like, I got value for my money. Right. Yeah, Another time before the pandemic, we had a few franchisees that hired a lot of non-Caribbean people. Right. And it also drifted away from the roots. You come into a Caribbean restaurant to support your people. You know what I mean? A lot of them, and I thank you guys for that. You know what I mean? For coming out and supporting me. They come and they support our business because it's Caribbean. Right. You know what I mean? They want to feel like that dollar is going into another Caribbean person's pocket. Right. So for me, one of the biggest things that I want to do is I want to show them that you're giving us that dollar and we're putting that dollar into the community. Right. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm focusing on all 2021, 22, 23, 24 till I die. The biggest thing is community initiative. How are we going to be giving back? That's one of the things that I talked to my dad about. I said, before the management just talked about going to ATI Dream Weekend. Right. You know what I mean? You got extra money at the end of the year. That's what we're doing. We're going to ATI Dream Weekend. We're buying a new car. You know what I mean? We're getting a new house. Like, how can I blow all the money on myself? Right. And it's that self-preservation that ruins bringing up the next generation. Right. They need to see us as a company that's giving back to them. You want to know that you buy Sunrise all the time, and Sunrise helped you send your kid to a program. There's a lot of things that we're working on now, right? Like we teamed up with Zero Gun Violence to do some stuff in the community. Yes, I noticed that. Right? And bringing in those initiatives shows that, we're going to take the money that we're making and we're going to put it in getting kids off of the street, stopping the gun violence that plagues our neighborhoods. Right. You understand what I'm saying? That's one of the biggest things is the kids are just shooting each other left, right, and center. And it's our kids shooting people that look just like them. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Why? Why can't we show them a different path? Right. Why can't we come together? I told Zero Gun Violence, right, that if all the little Caribbean restaurants, all the hair salons, all the barbershops, if we all pulled together and said, we're going to pitch a little bit of money into getting kids off the street, we wouldn't have the issues that we have right now. True. But it's self-preservation that causes the issues. Right. It's me saying, I'd rather go get a new car than giving towards the young kids coming up. I only care about me and my initial family. We're all family. Yeah. Everyone that looks like me is my family. We all come from the same place. Yeah, that's great. Right. That's awesome. I think, there's a philosopher that talks a little bit about infinite living, and it's about not just the self-preservation. Yes, you want to make money, and money is just a tool that gets you to where you want. And that's the bigger dream. And that's how you're going to make a difference in the world. And it seems like you're right on that path. And I applaud you for that. That's great. So then what's next? How can people reach you? How can people reach out to, and if they want to make a difference, if they want to do something in the community, knowing that you have an initiative, first of all, how can they reach out to? LinkedIn is my biggest platform right now. Okay. Right. Nice. I love LinkedIn. Right. You know what I mean? Too. LinkedIn, it's like a business Facebook and Instagram. You know what I mean? But it's professional. Right. I'm not too big on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and those kind of stuff. So LinkedIn is where most of the people can find me. That's where I post all my stuff. And it's such a positive platform. It is. Like if you see the amount of love that's on that, you know what I mean? It's not spewing hate at all. Right. You know what I mean? And that's where a lot of people on there inspired. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's going there. I got I'm even connected with Michael Lee Chin. Right. I don't get to talk. Right. But you know what I mean? I'm connected to him. And as a young man, that's so inspiring to see, you know what I mean? A Jamaican billionaire businessman decided to connect with me on LinkedIn. Right. Yeah. I was ready. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I need to do something. That day I felt like, we're opening more stores. I would be like that guy when I grew up. You know what I mean? So it's that's where you find me. You wanna link up, that's where you find me. I answer all my DMs. You connect me, I connect with everybody. I'm not the type type of person to say I don't know you like that, so I'm not gonna connect with everybody. Let's talk. Let's see what we could do. What can we do together?
Sure.
And there's a lot. I'm telling you, my DMs are full. Since I've been starting to post, there's been a whole bunch, and I gotta pick and choose the ones that make the most sense for what I'm trying to do. But you know what I mean? Reach out.
Yeah.
Let's talk. Let's have that conversation.
Okay, that's perfect. Do we have any questions? We have a lot of questions? Comments. Oh, we have comments. Let's bring them up. You may have to read them. I can't see
from here either. But no one say.
This from Doreen.
Do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Okay. That is great leadership. Not many people think of the greater good.
Oh, yes. That is awesome. Thank you so much, Doreen.
I learned a lot from you, Chadwick. You are a true leader with tremendous vision.
Oh, thank you, Doreen. Oh, my God.
Maxine says you have the right idea here. Our support staff is paramount and a healthy environment is important. Oh,
perfect. Yeah. See, you're getting a lot of love.
Yeah. And Doreen says, watch for my LinkedIn connection, Marcus.
Thank you, Doreen.
Okay, so what are we on time? I can't even see. Yeah, so we got lots of time. So let's talk a little bit now about, so what do you do when you're not working? What do you do on your free time? Like what can people expect from Marcus if he's just, as a downtime and recovery time or self-care?
For me, a lot of the time now I've been focusing on the Bible, to be honest with you, focusing on religion and like my inner self and understanding how to reach that level of peace.
Right.
That's the thing that a lot of people don't have, and it's meditation to master your emotions.
Right.
A lot of people might have anger issues, or they might feel sad, or they might feel happy for different odd reasons. For me, I want to master those things, so I spend a lot of the time doing that. If not, odd time I might be watching TV. You know what I mean? And if I do watch TV, I try to watch TV shows that would inspire me.
Right.
Something that I could look there and see and be like, what, that's something that I should be implementing in my business. I also go on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
A lot of my free time is there. You're gonna see I'm online most of the time, scrolling through.
Great,
you know what I mean, doing this and that.
Trying to get back to people. Yeah.
Right. I like to go on walks. I want to bring that connection with nature.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's where I'm at most of my peace. With the trees going and little bugs and the birds. You know what I mean? That's what I do.
Yeah.
And that's my thing.
That's great. That's self-care. That's the ability to reconnect with nature, clearing your thoughts. I do most of my walking first thing in the morning at 6:30. I'm out there connecting, getting some sun, some rays, and also it clears my mind. And I start my business calls about 7 while I'm walking. Yeah. So it actually is a great way to connect and recharge. And it's also, I find it's a way when you're uninspired. That's just a way for it to get going, because if you're so much focused on just yourself, then it's hard to find the inspiration. If you focus a little bit more on, let's say someone else is having a tough time, or how can I help this other person, or maybe I can make a call to someone to kind of bring their day up a little bit. I find that inspires me on my own day and gets me going and tries to, and just make me feel better about myself.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean about infinite living, is about giving something to people that you can give people money and you can give them all this stuff, but once the money's gone, they nothing is there. But if you inspire them and if you give them some kind of you show them the leadership that you're showing right now, believe me, it's going to be something that's a legacy that lasts way beyond when you're gone. And that's awesome. And you don't have any kids yet?
No, don't have any kids yet.
So any plans for kids?
Right now.
Tough question, right?
It is a tough question. I would love to have children.
You're right.
Right now, due to the amount of work that I have to do, I want to be in my children's life as much as I can be.
Right.
I feel like that's a really big chapter.
Right.
And I want that chapter to be planned.
Right.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't have that luxury.
Right.
But I'd like for that chapter to be planned for me. So as I expand the business more and I get it to that level where it's like, you know what? I now don't have to be as hands-on as I used to be. now be ready to start a family.
Right.
I'm 25 years old. Sorry.
Yeah.
Birthday just passed. Still feel like I'm 24.
It's okay. Stay young.
Stay young. 25, right? So these are my years.
Yeah.
These are the years that I need to be doing the work. These are the years that I could have the sleepless nights. You know what I mean? The time where I could be getting off work at 6 a.m. and starting back at 10 a.m. You know what I mean? These are the times that I could be doing these things. When I reach the age of 30, you know what I mean? 35 is when you tend to start slowing down more physically.
Hey.
Not like you know what I mean? You're in your tip-top shape. You know what I mean? I gotta get on your diet, right? But for the average person, right, you tend to slow down when it comes down to those things. You don't have the same energy that you used to have when you were in your 20s. So I need to use this time for that. And also, this time is not dedicated to me.
Right.
I want to show people that are in the same age group as me that you could do it.
Right.
You see, the thing is, and one of the biggest things, the topic I want to get on is, when you want to inspire someone, they need to see themselves in you, right? Yeah. So for me, inspiring someone that's 15, 16 years old, I'm not far.
Right.
You know what I mean? 18, 19, I'm not far.
Right.
So if I can do it,
right,
you can, right? The only time that they see success at a young age like mine is if you're a rapper, if you're a ball player,
right,
or worst case, you know what I mean, you're a gangbanger or a drug dealer. So that's the things that our culture tends to navigate towards, especially as young Black men, to say, I want to be like him. Every kid has a Tupac picture in their room, or you know what I mean, or a mobster picture in their room, or an NBA star picture in their room. But how much of them have a Michael Lee Chin picture?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, how much of them have those?
No,
none.
None.
You know what I mean? You ask them who Michael Lee Chin is, and they say,
no idea.
But that's because Michael Lee Chin is so much older than them that they don't view themselves to say, I can relate to that.
Right.
There needs to be more young people like me that are doing what I'm doing that they can relate to. And that's one of the things I want to show them, that you could have that same success as a rapper, as a ball player, without doing those things. Not to say anything's wrong with them.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you wanted to go down the route of saying, you know, a lot of people want to be gangbangers, that's why there's so much gun violence in the city. You could have all the nice things while doing something positive.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could have the big house. You could have the fast cars, all the nice things that you could have. You could have the jewelry. You know what I mean? You could live the lifestyle where you get to go on vacation and enjoy yourself with the right business.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't have to be doing something that's bringing violence and death.
Right.
But they have to see themselves.
Right.
That say, you know what? Marcus is doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, look at him. I could do it too.
Yeah. So that's a big part of imagery.
Yeah.
Now, as we talked, and obviously the last couple of years, especially in 2020, with all the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter and things going on, it was a very emotional time for us all.
Yes.
And I can imagine how that may affect the younger generation. Some of the things that we saw. Now, obviously there's a lot of awareness now brought in terms of imagery and what they see. And young people like yourself stepping in front of that light and saying, look, here I am as a living example, I think is a great thing, man. Because, oftentimes you're right. The image that they see is the negative stereotype that's portrayed on the television, in the movies, and in the music videos. Do you think that there's some responsibility some onus should be taken by some of the guys that are portraying the negative image? For example, a rapper that may glorify gangbanging.
You see, that one's a little bit tricky. Reason being is, on one end, it's what the consumer wants.
Right.
You know what I mean? The consumer wants to see you hardcore, wants to see you, that bad guy image. But at the same time, I don't believe that that's what you always have to consistently sell.
Right.
You would have to take it on the chin and say, I might not sell as much records, but I'm spitting out a positive image. And if we all did that, think about back when reggae music was the biggest thing. It was conscious.
Yeah,
they weren't talking about killing people. No. Look how big Bob Marley got.
Yeah.
He not one time said that he's picking up any weapon of any form to kill anyone.
Yeah.
Except for I shot the sheriff.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Did you shoot the deputy?
Other than that, he didn't talk about, the violence that is being portrayed now. Even when you listen to new Caribbean music, the new dancehall music, it's very negative.
Right.
Because that's what's fun. It's fun to be evil. It's fun to be, to be malicious like that. It's fun. But no, it's not.
Yeah.
You want to know one day that you want to have your kids, you want to have your wife, you want to have your family, you want to have your nice estate. You want to have your boat if that's what you're into.
Right.
And you know that you can sleep peacefully at night.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's bringing that. We can do that. We can change that. You see, people don't view our people as business people.
Right.
You know what I mean? They just view us as entertainers.
Right.
You know, and that's my problem with rapping and the like NBA and football and those type of things is you're getting paid as a contractor. You're employed by the NFL. You're employed by your label.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying self-employed. You might feel like you work for yourself, but you don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You need to talk about opening up your own business.
Right.
Because that's how we really move the needle further.
Right.
And the kids coming up and saying, you know, I want to be an entrepreneur. You go and you look at other races. You go and you look at Chinese. You go and look at Indian. You go and look at Caucasians. You know what I mean? They strive in school. Right. Because when they go home, that's what they're taught.
Right.
You know what I mean? They might listen to a little music here and there, but at the end of the day, they know that this is what I need to do. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a business owner, an accountant.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because they go home and they see that.
Mm-hmm.
We see the thing with us is we go to a family dinner, right? I can say this is even my family. You go to a family dinner and not everybody is doing something positive.
Right.
You know what I mean? The guy that the cousin you always looked up to that was so cool, that was getting all the girls, he's a gangbanger.
Yeah.
So you find yourself in a situation where you want to, you make some extra money, you're calling up Cuzzo and saying, yo, how can you put me on something? You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's one of the things that I was talking to Zero Gun Violence about, is saying that we need to be that avenue that kids could come to us. You see, as being Black, people don't understand how hard it is in the business realm.
Right. Oh yeah.
It's hard just being Black alone. Yeah. Waking up every day and walking on the street, you know what I mean? It's hard enough. We all know this. Right. But being a Black entrepreneur, they don't give you that support.
Right.
You mean the bank doesn't just say, hey, let's throw money at you. Right. You know what I mean? Go do it. No. You got to fight tooth and nail. You have to be the best Black person ever to get half of what someone that is not a Black person would get with horrible credit. You know what I mean? You got to have the credit, you got to have the look, you got to have the talk, you got to be like a stand-up citizen to get it done. It's unfair. We're at a disadvantage everywhere that you look. Right. You know what I mean? So it's not hard. It's not easy for someone to say, you know what? I want to be a business owner. It's easier for you to say, I'm going to do something negative, because if you want to go get a gun, I mean, these kids are getting guns faster than they can get credit cards. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that's your new thing. You turn 16, you know what I mean, in the chain area, you get a strap. You know what I mean? Rather than you getting a credit card or getting a lesson on how to do business properly. Right. Yeah. But that's the box that they put us in. Right. And we continue to fall into that trap. Right. Because, you know what I mean, the young girls, when they're young, 16, 17, they want a hardcore guy, you know what I mean? They want a guy that's a thug. You know what I mean? So everybody thinks, oh, I gotta be hard, I gotta be tough, or else nobody's gonna like me. Right. No. Yeah. Okay. Well, you're changing that perception. 100%. How do you change it for them? How do you help them out of that? It's by giving them the proper avenue. And that's one of the things that I'm going to be working on going forward, is giving them the opportunity to start their own business, making it easier for you to do something positive than it is for you to do something negative. Right. Because it's easy. I had this conversation with somebody in the Jane area that was big time into, like, drugs and guns, all that kind of stuff. He says, you know what? Right now I could go get cocaine on consignment. You know what I mean? I need a brick or something. I go to the right person, they give it to you, so I know how to make money right away. Right. You know, why don't you give a kid an opportunity where you say, you know what, here's a grant that we have, and if you bring the right criteria, you could get $20,000. Right. This isn't no bank. This isn't no institute. This is Sunrise. This is us giving it to you. Right. And the kids say, you know what? Dell got it. Right. Dell got 20 grand and he started his own, shoe selling company. Yeah. I'm gonna do it. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how you do it. They knowing, because you see, a lot of the times our community, we get tricked. We get promised of all these things, but then nothing happens. Right. And that brings that depression of, man, I don't want to be no white collared businessman. They're not going to help me before you even try, because you already know that people have tried before and got nowhere. They said, oh, we're going to bring up this big loan package for Black businesses. But where is it? Sunrise Caribbean Restaurant is the largest Black-owned franchise in the country. Right. I have not seen $1 of it. No one has come to me and told me that we're going to be getting any money for anything. No, they've talked about it and they've said they're going to release it. It's more of a photo op for the politicians. So, exactly. So most of us who are in the know. And that's the reason why people are stopped from becoming entrepreneur, is because they've been promised all these things that never comes. But you see the dope boy down the street, he can promise you something, you can get it. Right. Yeah. So they go towards that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That's the easiest route. We need to make it easier for it to do something positive than it is to do something negative. And that's by us coming together as a people and saying, you know what? And creating our own. The government, leave them. Let them do whatever they said they're going to do on their TV. We're going to come into our own neighborhoods and we're going to offer the kids money. We're going to say, here, take $1,000 to do this. Take $2,000 to do that. You know, even the little young kids, starting up his own little hot dog stand, or you know what I mean, he wanted to get an ice cream truck to go around in the summertime, and you helped him get his first little rental, first and last, and gave him enough stock for him to start. You know how big that is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He sat there and he said, you know, the whole summer he could have been selling drugs, but he chose not to. He decided that he wanted to sell ice cream,
right? Yeah.
And make more money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you bring somebody in now that can show him how to do his taxes for that little time that he was doing it. He's like, you know what? That was really fun, man. I learned how to run my own business. Let me do that again next year.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I mean? And when he turns 30 years old, he's running a big firm.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's when I pass away, you know what I mean? And my kids are the ones that are running the country.
Sure, that's the legacy.
And them come in and there's just like, you know what? Now you see a lot more of our people doing well in school, taking their curricular seriously. You know what I mean? Getting the badges of honor. And there's like, you know what? These guys are smart in math. They're smart in political science. They're coming inside of politics. They're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? It's seeing that when I pass away.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's for me to bring that up. If I could change one kid,
right,
I've done great. He's going to change another.
Awesome. That's true. That's my motto. So I think we're coming to the end. We're coming to the end of the show, and I just wanted to. Do we have any more questions? Do we have any questions for the audience? Okay. So I wanted to. What would you like to leave everyone with? Is there any one thing that you want to leave our audience with before we go?
I would want to leave everybody with doing something in your community that's going to help out 5-10 years from now. And not just thinking about tomorrow, but thinking about years to come in a positive way. That's what I want to leave people with.
That's fantastic. I thank you so much for joining me tonight. I think it was awesome. It was great to finally meet in person again, or actually have the show in person. Yeah. And I want to thank the audience for tuning in. And you know, you can catch repeats of the show either on Chet Talks. Please subscribe to get further information and see previous shows. Or Chet Talks on Facebook. We will be coming to LinkedIn Live fairly soon. We hope, and we also have we're also available on Stitch. Yes, Twitch. Yes, Twitch. My bad. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you again, Marcus. Okay, good night, everyone.